You are going to learn chemical changes. The chemical changes already one of our teacher taught. Now you are going to study continuation of the chemical changes. So the first thing, that is first topic in the chemical changes is now in this section, chemical reaction of baking soda with lemon. That is chemical reaction of baking soda with lemon. So baking soda react with lemon. That's a very simple chemical reaction. So that you know, baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. What is that? Baking soda is sodium hydrogen carbonate. This is otherwise called sodium bicarbonate. Lemon is citric acid. Lemon contains citric acid, that is organic acid. When lemon, that is citric acid. Lemon is citric acid. Baking soda contains sodium bicarbonate or hydrogen carbonate. Lemon contains citric acid. When citric acid mixed with the sodium hydrogen carbonate, what is the product obtained? You know, there are three products are obtained. So when sodium hydrogen carbonate mixed with the acid, you could observe bubbles are comes out with the hissing sound. That is evolution of bubbles. Understood? That you can be observe. While citric acid react with the sodium hydrogen carbonate. What are the product here? Sodium citrate. There is one of the product. Sodium citrate. Remaining carbon dioxide. Another one byproduct is water. Sodium citrate, carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide releases by evolution of bubbles. That is, bubbles are comes out now, and citric acid mixed with this baking soda. Because of the bubbles, the reason is the evolution of carbon dioxide. Additionally, water also present. This is a reaction. That is chemical reaction of baking soda with lemon. In our home, you can be do this reaction. You can be practice these reactions. Do you know baking soda powder, idli powder? We are having in our home, no? That you take, that dissolve in water, then lemon. It's available. That lemon mixed with this baking soda, you could observe bubbles comes out. Understood? The solution form. So bubbles are comes out. That is the gas evolves. The name of gas is carbon dioxide. This I can be show through equation form, chemical equation form. This is word form I written. I can write this as equation form. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. What is the formula? That is NaHCO3. This is sodium hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate. When this is reacting with the citric acid, chemical formula of citric acid is SH3C6H5O7. This is organic. H3C6H5O7. So this is formula of citric acid. Then sodium citrate, nothing here. Instead of 3 hydrogen, it replaced by sodium. That is Na3 remaining C6H5O7. What is Na3 C6H5O7? So remaining carbon dioxide. That you know, formula of carbon dioxide is CO2. Formula of water is H2O. H2O. This is the equation form of these reactions. Equation form of these reactions. Here, how many moles we have to be substitute? 3 moles of sodium in the product side. In the reactant side, just we should write multiply the 3 moles of sodium bicarbonate for balancing the equations. So for balancing, we should follow this. Here 3 moles of sodium bicarbonate. Now 3 sodium in the reactant. You see in the product side 3 sodium. That's over. Remaining. So here 3 hydrogen. Let's see. Here 3 hydrogen 6. Here 1 5. 5 plus 3 8. 8 plus 3 11. But in this side only 5. So we want to fill again with multiply 3. So 3 moles of water. Now take carbon. Here 6 carbon. 1, that is 7 carbon in this. But here 6 carbon and 3. How many? 6 plus 3, 9. So this again we want to be multiply with the 6, 3. Multiply with the 3. So 3 carbon dioxide. Now the equation is balanced. Carbon dioxide is gas, so this to be written as appended arrow mark. Appended arrow mark, that is 3 moles of carbon dioxide. So this is the reaction. So formula of sodium citrate is Na3C6H5O7. This is sodium citrate, carbon dioxide and water. This is given in your textbook. This is about reaction of baking soda with lemon. Next we go. So this is first thing. Next we go conditions necessary. Conditions necessary for chemical change. For chemical changes. So this is the topic now we are going to discuss. Conditions necessary for chemical changes. What are the conditions required, necessary or required for chemical changes? For formation of new concept, for formation of new product, what are the necessary things is to be happened? And that is called conditions. So conditions for the chemical changes we have to list out. The first condition is evolution of bubbles. Evolution of bubbles. This is the first condition. The second condition is evolution of, what is it? Yeah, during chemical reaction, heat energy is what? In this absorption of heat also is takes place. Next thing, changes of what is that? Smell, that is odor or color. Odor or color. This should be happen. Changes of odor or color. Next, the last one is formation of a precipitate. Formation of a precipitate. These are the conditions required. These are the conditions required for chemical changes. Whatever the chemical changes, that chemical changes need these conditions. It may be during the chemical reactions or chemical changes, bubbles may come out, or heat energy is evolved or observed. Color, the change of color or the change of smell, initial one smell, after completion of the reaction, that smell may be changes, or color also likewise. Then there is formation of a precipitate. That is the insoluble substance is called precipitate. That is the conditions. So these are the conditions of chemical changes. Let's see one by one. Evolution of bubbles. Here that when we take these reactions, earlier reaction, no? In this there is bubbles released out, no? Bubbles comes out when lemon mixed with the baking soda. Bubbles comes out, no? So this is the example. So whatever the reactions, the bubbles comes from that. So such reactions are called evolution of bubbles. Some of the chemical reactions takes place like this. When we take a washing soda, that also instead of that washing soda, when washing soda mixed with citric or acetic acid, washing soda mixed with acetic acid, in that also evolution of bubbles comes out. You could observe the bubbles comes from that. That means carbon dioxide released from the reactions. That is the reasons. The same we can give the example for this. Second one, evolution of heat. Evolution is nothing, releases of heat energy. For this, for example, when quicklime, the formula of quicklime is calcium oxide. When quicklime mixed with the simple water, this is very simple reaction. Powder, Sunambu powder, that is quicklime. That Sunambu powder, when mixed with the water, quicklime mixed with water, you could observe the product is the calcium oxide completely dissolved in water. That forms slacked lime. This is calcium hydroxide. Slacked lime or lime water. Additionally, water is a byproduct. Or in this instead of that, there is heat energy is a water. Instead of water, there is additionally heat is a water. This you can observe. When in quicklime, when lime powder mixed with water, when you touch the vessel, you could observe heat energy. Am I right? When you touch the vessel, you feel the hotness. So that's because of during these reactions, it releases heat energy. This is the concept only. It releases heat energy. In this also, by forming of slacked lime water, that releases heat energy to the surroundings. Such a reaction is called evolution of heat. A lot of reactions are there. While releasing heat energy, the product is obtained. Such a reaction is called the evolution of heat. Next, changes of color or odor. So when initially one smell, after completion of the reaction, the entire smell will be changes. For color, I can give example. When copper carbonate, the color of copper carbonate is green in color. When copper carbonate is heated, the symbol is indicate heated. When copper carbonate is heated, this green color of copper carbonate changes into black color. What is green color of copper carbonate? Changes into black color. That releases carbon dioxide gas. Initially, the reactant color is green. When this heated, this converted into black color. Because of here copper oxide. This is copper 2 oxide. But one oxide is present. This is called copper 2 oxide. This is called cupric oxide. What is that? Cupric oxide. So when green color convert into or changes into black color. So a copper carbonate converted into copper oxide. This is one chemical reaction. In this color is changes. Understood? So we go next one. Formation of a precipitate. Just I told you what is called a precipitate. The insoluble substance, even the insoluble substance during a chemical reactions, such a substance are called precipitate. For example, when we take lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice. This is colorless substance, lead nitrate. It dissolves in potassium iodide. This is also colorless. This we can make it to solution form. Lead nitrate in the solution form, aqueous. Potassium iodide also in the aqueous form. When lead nitrate mixed with the potassium iodide, this forms lead iodide. After mixing, byproduct is potassium nitrate. What is potassium nitrate? After mixing, you could observe initially both the reactant are colorless. I told you. After mixing one another, you may see there is a yellow colored solution is observed. Yellow color, the solution will become yellow colored. Even in that, insoluble substance, small insoluble substance are forming. Such insoluble substance are called precipitate. So that what is? I used a down-ended arrow mark. While chemical reaction precipitate is forming, we should show in that down-ended arrow mark. That is PbI2 is called a precipitate. Which color precipitate? This is yellow color precipitate. And this is about some of the chemical reactions forming a precipitate. So these are the basic conditions required for the chemical changes. What are they? Evolution of bubbles, evolution of heat, changes of odor or color, formation of a precipitate. Next topic is exothermic and endothermic chemical changes. What is exothermic and endothermic chemical changes? Endothermic chemical changes. Exothermic, endothermic chemical changes. Let's see what is called exothermic and what is called endothermic chemical change. Before understanding the meaning of exothermic and endothermic, let us perform a simple activity. And it's a very easy activity. This is take soap powder in one hand. Soap powder in one hand. Then in another hand you take glucose. That is, in one hand you take soap powder, small amount of soap powder. In another hand you take small amount of glucose. Now you add a few drops of water on the both. Add few drops of water into glucose as well as soap powder also. You could kept as it is some time. After addition of water, what do you observe? Just you practice this in your home, very simple. What do you observe? Yes, you observe you are having a soap powder, no, in that hand you feel hot. Understood? That hand you feel hot. Then another hand you kept glucose, no, that hand you feel cool. It is coldness. That hand glucose kept hand feel cold, and soap powder kept hand feel hotness. Because this happened, why no? The soap powder releases heat energy to the surroundings. So that's why this hand feel hot. Then glucose feel coldness. That means it's absorb cold from the surroundings. These things releases heat. These things absorbs heat. So these two changes is takes place. What is one is in this, that is evolution of heat. Evolution of heat or absorption of heat. That is soap powder hand that absorbs that evolution, that is releases heat. It releases heat. One thing, that one more. This hand, what we are having? What I kept in this hand? Yes, I kept glucose. So these, what this feel? This hand feel? Yeah, cold because of it absorbs heat. Absorbs heat. These are two things is happen. One is releases heat, another one is absorbs heat. This is two things is happening. So now we go for the definition for what is exothermic and what is endothermic reactions. There is, I have written in this. The exothermic reaction is during the reaction heat energy is releases. That's all. During the reaction heat energy is releases. Heat energy is releases. Such a reaction is called exothermic reaction. During the reaction, heat energy is absorbs. Heat energy is absorbs, it takes in. Such a reaction is called endothermic reaction. That's all. This is what is releases of heat energy. Endothermic is absorption of heat energy. For example of this, for releases and absorption. For releases, we have take that's calcium oxide with that also we can take releases heat, or we take carbon, that is coal. Simple example. Coal contains carbon. No, when coal is heated, coal is ignited, heated, it forms carbon dioxide. It forms carbon dioxide. This releases heat energy. This releases heat energy. Burning of coal. What is burning of coal? Releases heat energy. So these reactions is example of exothermic chemical changes. These changes is example of exothermic chemical changes. What is burning of coal? It is absorption of heat. Absorption of heat. You take calcium carbonate. It is calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate, this is marble. something marble chips or chalk piece. Chalk piece. This made up of calcium carbonate. So when calcium carbonate is heated, this forms calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. By absorption of this calcium carbonate, it releases or it is decomposed into nothing decomposed. A calcium carbonate decomposed into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is the example for endothermic chemical reactions. Endothermic in this calcium carbonate absorbing heat, it is going to be split up into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. In this, while burning of carbon dioxide, that is while burning of carbon, it forms carbon dioxide. This releases heat energy. This heat energy we are using for some other purpose, for cooking and some other purpose. Understood? This is about exothermic and endothermic chemical changes. So we go next topic. Yes. The next topic is periodic and non-periodic changes. Non-periodic changes. What is periodic and non-periodic changes? First one we go periodic changes. Periodic changes. That is the term. The word itself, that is the meaning, periodic. So the changes, this is changes that repeat at regular interval of time, regular interval of time. Such changes are called periodic changes. Changes that repeat at regular interval of time. Such changes are called periodic changes. For example, this is very simple concept. You can give your own example also. At regular interval of time, the changes is happened. Such changes are called periodic changes. Yes. Here, when we take what is rotation and revolution of Earth. Best example for is example for periodic rotation and revolution. Rotation and revolution of Earth. Rotation and revolution of Earth. This is an example of periodic changes. Rotation, revolution of Earth. This is the first example. When we go for the second example, beating, that is beating of the heart. Beating of the heart. These are the two examples for the periodic changes. So first example is rotation and revolution of the Earth. This happened at regular interval of time. At definite interval of time, the rotation takes place as well as revolution also. At the same time, beating of the heart. Beating of the heartbeat, we feel left tap sound, no? Left tap. That sound at minute, that's 1 minute, 72 times that sound is produced. That also it takes at regular interval of time. That is called beating of the heart. So this is the two example for periodic changes. We go for the non-periodic changes. Second one is non-periodic changes. Non-periodic changes. Non-periodic changes. Opposite of periodic is non-periodic. So here changes that repeat. No, here changes that do not repeat. That's all. Do not repeat at regular interval of time. Only thing you should concentrate. Changes that do not repeat at regular interval of time, such changes are called non-periodic changes. That's all. Do not repeat. Whatever the changes takes place, once this happened, next time at the same time, at the same period, it will not happen. Such changes are non-periodic changes. For example for the non-periodic. Volcano eruption. Eruption of volcanoes. Eruption of volcanoes. This is, I can give example for non-periodic. No, suppose this year is going to erupt at a particular time, it may not be happen in the next year at the same time, in the same place. That's called volcano eruption. Eruption of volcanoes. This is the example for non-periodic. Second, Very interesting one. Second example. Running of a batsman. Running of a batsman. This running of a batsman. Running of a batsman between the wickets. Between the wickets. This is very interesting example. No? Between the wickets. Running of a batsman between the wickets. This is in cricket. When a batsman hit the ball, he want to take a run. By the time what the batsman is doing, he is running in between the two wickets. No, here on 3 stems are there. Next to that, opposite of that, 3 stems are there. In between these 2 wickets, the batsman is running. No, batsman is running. No, it's not happened in all the over, in all the ball. In first ball, he may take 1 run. In the second ball, he may hit 4 or 6. Right? He may hit 4 or 6. He won't be take run. He won't be running in between the 2 wickets. Well, hitting 6 and 4, he won't be run because he get 4 runs or 6 runs. In the third ball, he may dot, or in the fourth ball, he may hit 2 runs. While hitting the ball, he want to take 2 runs. He want to running in between the 2 wickets. He want to run 2 times in between the wickets. So that's called 2 runs. This happened. No, these changes are called non-periodic changes. That's all. So at a regular interval of time, the changes do not repeat. Such a changes is non-periodic. Example: eruption of volcanoes and running a batsman between the 2 wickets. This is very best example. So far, students, we have discussed that is reaction between baking soda and the lemon, and after that we have discussed what are the conditions required for the chemical changes, the exothermic and endothermic reactions. Now we have discussed periodic and non-periodic chemical changes. These are the topic we have completed. This is the last topic of these lessons, chemical changes. We have completed the lesson. We go through the lessons thoroughly and read the lessons daily. We are giving daily work to you, 1 page or 2 pages, and read in that pages. While reading, just you watch the video, you can get a clear idea. Then every week you have test. No, without a fail, all should attend the test. This is very important. You are coming to the school, you want to show all your record, that is all your test. Understood? So you should go through and you should write the test regularly. Then only you will have idea. You cannot be forget the concept. You can touch the concept. That's why keep on and keeping on touching the subject. Understood? This is the only thing or only advice I am giving you. Okay, student. Thank you. Bye.